worm predictions for the Georgia Senate runoff elections. For those of you who have not watched previous videos, I call these things worms or web online rally models, which just follows the idea that many people, I believe, would be comfortable with, that social media statistics can predict elections, and not only predict elections, but you can go back immediately after an election and see if it's consistent with social media statistics or other online statistics. Let's take a look at the overall summary. This P-win, which is probability of winning, I've broken it up into the two data sets I have, months. So in November, or was the data from yesterday in January, January 4th to be specific. And just looking at the web online rally models here, or the worms, and I'm showing it in a violin plot format, which sort of gives an estimation of what the probability distributions look like based on these numbers. Has a box plot in the middle. The white dot here is the median, and the median would be sort of using our best guess of a probability. But you can see the two races. You have Ossoff versus Perdue and Warnock versus Loeffler, and you can see this is very clear cut. If Ossoff doesn't win today, then I have to go back to the books and figure out why. Oftentimes in races, when the candidates are not matched by age, the older guy has a lower online presence than a younger guy. That makes total sense. And so it makes it harder to interpret these models, because this guy is clearly of the generation of people who know that social media is everything. He's of a generation that just has to almost hire people to use social media, and he's also relying on his past success rather than social media. Nevertheless, as far as online presence goes, Ossoff is the winner. And then it goes for both data sets in January too. In fact, in January it becomes more clear cut to the Democratic candidate. And then in both November and January, in the special election between Warnock and Loeffler, you can see that these distributions are much more overlapping. So it is not as clear cut. Nevertheless, the Democrat was slightly favored, and again, that favor towards the Democrat only became stronger based on online presence since November. And here I'm just showing the same data, but it's not. This is more sensitive to the individual data points. Here I just am using a stronger smoothing function to sort of approximate maybe what more of a less bumpy distribution would look like. Nonetheless, the median and the box plot stays exactly the same, and the conclusions stay exactly the same. So if I were a betting man and the only information I wanted to use was these web online rally models, then I would bet my money for the Democratic candidate in both races. So Ossoff and Warnock. Now, if I was a betting man and I wanted to incorporate incumbent information, I would be much more confused. So, as FiveThirtyEight has said in some of the things they've published lately, this is a very close race. It's not clear who's going to win. And I would agree. It's really based on which analyses or which assumptions you think are strongest, and you got to go with that. But since this channel is dedicated to worms, I'm putting worm money on the Democrats for Georgia. As weird as that might be, given the fact that Republicans had held both of these offices for the last 9 terms or so. Stay tuned. Later on today or this week, I will put out a longer version of this analysis to give more details and dive deeper into the assumptions and everything else, including why you should trust this model in the first place. All right, so be on the lookout for that. Take care.